Hey guys, and welcome to lesson number 2 for Montview Middle School's art class. Lesson number 2. Um, if you've already gone and figured out how to get yourself logged into Pixlr.com, you are all set to go to follow along and follow this lesson. If you don't, you should definitely go back and watch the video that I just posted here for this week back on lesson number 1 and figure out how to get how to get yourself set up for Pixlr.com and get your lessons turned in. So let's go and begin if you already know what you are ready to do. I'm going to go and open up Chrome like I have been using. And I'm going to go ahead and go to Pixlr.com like we have already been using for lesson number 1. When I get there, what our lesson we're trying to do is take a photograph where we take, say, an image like one of these Jeeps here that are blue, and we're going to try and change that Jeep to like another color. Now, you can use any photograph that you want, so long as it's one object that is a very vivid and bright color, that is something very easy to identify, and you're going to change that color to something different. Now, what I recommend you guys do, like I did for this project myself, is find an image of something that is very easy to pick out. Now, as I talked about in my last YouTube video, is that you should find a very good high quality image. Now I'm going to look up blue Jeep in this instance to find an image. I'm going to make sure that I'm clicking here on Google to a image search. I'm also going to make sure that I'm looking for a high quality image, so that way it's not very blurry or pixelated. When I hit tools right here, it will give me an option to change the picture to a large file picture. This will make sure that the picture that I'm pulling is of a high quality and not too blurry or pixelated. Here's the one that you saw I had earlier. I'm going to find it. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to hit save image as, and I'm going to call it whatever it is I like here to save it into my pictures folder. Now that I've got this downloaded to my computer, I'm going to go ahead and open it up into Pixlr.com. So when I go to Pixlr, I'm going to hit on open image. I'm going to select the file in my downloads folder or wherever it is I'd saved that picture. In this case, it's here in my pictures folder, and open it up. That will go ahead and put us into our workspace and ready to go. Now, the objective of today's lesson, or this week's lesson, is to change the color of a single object in a photograph from one color to another. In this case, I'm going to take the blue Jeep here and I'm going to turn it to, say, red. I don't know, whatever color it is you like. Now, there's a couple of ways that I can go about this, as there are with any kind of photoshopping Pixlr um, type task. So if I want to turn this blue Jeep to red, first thing I should understand is that there are a couple tools that I should probably use. One is the draw tool, which looks like a paintbrush here. The other cool tool I'll talk about here in a bit is the color replace. Now let's talk a little bit about the drawing tool. There's also a pen tool that's very similar. The drawing tool is essentially a big paintbrush like it would be in Microsoft Paint. If I click on that, whatever color I have selected here is going to be the color that I draw with. Now there usually are two colors here in what you call your paint palette options. Whenever you hit this color, it switches between those two colors. In order to change that color, all you got to do is double click on it, and it gives you options to choose whatever color you want, and then also affect how much value you apply to that color. So adding how much white, how much black, how much gray to that particular color. In this instance, I'm going to make sure that I've got, say, a red color selected for this. I'm going to make sure I've got the right hue that I want, value that I want, and click OK. And notice that that color is now saved here. Now I already had a dark red color saved here, so I could always switch in between the two, but I'm going to stick to this red color, this brighter red color. Now using this brush tool, this draw tool as it's called, I can come in and I can physically paint into that picture like you would say in Microsoft Paint. But as you can see, it's covering up details of this image I really don't want, or I would want to keep, to make this look a lot more realistic. That looks pretty fake in my opinion. So I'm going to go back over here to my history, like I talked about for last week. I'm going to undo what I did. I can do that by going to Edit Undo, or I can go in my history. And I'm going to choose a different option for how I can get this looking a lot more realistic by changing this blue Jeep to red. That's going to be using this tool I talked about called the Color Replace tool. This is very similar to the magic wand that we talked about last week up here, where it's actually going to read the pixels that I click on and understand what it is I'm trying to choose. So it's going to know the difference between these dark pixels here and these lighter pixels here. Again, all photographs are made up of all these tiny little pixels in this image. So if I use this tool and I click in the center of this Jeep door, it's going to start to paint the blue stuff red. But do you see how it's not affecting the value changes? Where the other tool, the draw tool, painted over everything directly, it's trying to actually understand what I want to keep red or what I want to turn red and what should stay black and white with the different value changes. Now, I could sit here and click and hold over all of this and color it, and it would do a decent job of doing it. Something I should do though is increase what's called my brush size. So I'm going to back to my history here. I'm going to undo what I did already. And I'm going to start looking at these options up here with my color swap, color replace tool. If I click here where it says brush, it's going to let me increase the size of my brush tool where I'm able to make the brush a lot bigger. When I click out of that and I click, say, back on the door like I did before, notice that it's taking a lot of it's a lot bigger space. It's taking me a fraction of the time to get the blue Jeep colored in. I'm still holding down my click button, by the way, but it's taking me a lot less time to turn this Jeep from one color to another. I'm going to keep holding it down, go over all the areas that I was trying to select, and I am good to go. You can see that now this Jeep is turned from blue to red, and I am ready to turn this image in. Now, there's a few areas that I didn't quite get. You can see that we're a little not quite perfect, so I can always go back and try and undo this and try it again without selecting areas that I already had picked. But for the most part, like I said, this tool is working out very well for what I'm trying to do for this image of turning the blue parts of the Jeep to red. So with that being said, guys, whenever you guys are ready to turn in, just follow one of those links I have below in Google Classroom for how to turn your work in, and you will be good to go to get your work submitted for this week. Um, Please direct message me if you have any questions here in Teams or in Google Classroom, and I will get to you anytime this week of how to get your work submitted and turned in. Thanks for watching, and good luck, guys.